Today, we're going to review a shoe that HOKA claims is for everyday males, but elevated. Today, we're going to review the HOKA Skyflow. Hello and welcome everybody to my channel. My name is Letty. I do weekly running content and tons of shoe reviews. Thank you for tuning in. And before we hop straight into today's shoe review, a quick disclaimer. This shoe has been provided to me for the purpose of review. However, no one is paying me for this review and all opinions expressed here are my own. Alright, so with that, let's get started and let's hop right into the model and purpose of this shoe. The HOKA Skyflow just came out. It came out on July 15th of 2024. Right now we're recording this, so this shoe has just been out for approximately a month. This shoe was created for the purpose of blending comfort, supportiveness, and responsiveness into one daily trainer. So let's check out the tech specs for this particular shoe. According to the website, if you scroll all the way down on the product page, you can see the tech specs of this particular shoe. This shoe comes in at a weight of 8.6 ounces with a heel drop of 5 millimeter. As for stability, the shoe is listed as neutral and we will get back to that point, so note that. When it comes to cushion, this shoe is listed as balanced. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about the key features of this shoe. This shoe has a midsole that has the EVA foam. The EVA foam is a foam that is supposed to be very springy and very cushy. But what this shoe also has is a super heel-focused active foot frame, which we'll talk about it later, but again, I think that's where that sense of support comes from. When it comes to the upper is not super light. It's kind of cushy, comparable to the Bondi shoe. This shoe has a heel tab, which helps you get the shoe on, and as you guys know, I like to run in my shoe barefooted, and this is definitely possible because the inside is super smooth. When it comes to the outsole of the shoe, the outsole seems to be very, very durable. According to the press release, HOKA also made sure to be using a very durable Podula high abrasion outsole, and you can tell I've put quite a few miles on this shoe. This outsole is indeed pretty durable. Alright, so moving on to the colors of the shoe. This shoe for women is available in this very beautiful color called Midnight Pink Twilight. The other shoe available for women is black and white. For the guys, there seem to be a few more color options. There is the color Varsity Navy, Electric Cobalt, Black and White, Frost Solar Flare, and Frost Gold. Now when it comes to the price point of the shoe is available for $160 for both men and women on the HOKA website as of now. This price is very common. The Bondis are the same price, I believe, and a lot of other brands of daily trainers are at that same price point. Now let's compare the shoe to other shoes available on the market that are newer from this year. Let's first start by staying within the brand HOKA. Let's compare the shoe to the HOKA Bondi 8 and the HOKA Skyward X. The HOKA Bondi 8 is a little bit heavier. It comes in at 8.9 ounces versus this shoe being listed as 8.6 ounces. It's not a very significant difference. In addition, the drop of the Bondi is of 4 millimeters while this one is 5 millimeters. Again, if you ask me, it would be something I never notice. But here are a couple of things that I do notice. First of all, the HOKA Bondi feels quite a bit softer. The platform is a little bit wider, so you don't feel that same stability as you do when you're wearing the HOKA Skyflow. Now, when you're running in the HOKA 8, it feels more plush and not as responsive as the Skyflow. And while these differences are pretty subtle, they definitely would make you think which shoe you would want to wear depending on what type of run you have scheduled for that day. Now let's compare the shoe to the Skyward X, which also came out this year and is also a daily trainer. The differences in this case are a little bit bigger. The Skyward X is a lot bulkier. It has a bigger platform, so you're definitely riding up higher. But due to having this wide or high platform, you have a lot more plush in that shoe. At the same time, and quite surprisingly, the responsiveness of the Skyward X and the Skyflow seem pretty equal. Even though the Skyward X has so much plush in it, it still seems quite responsive. The one thing I definitely noticed, however, when I was comparing all three shoes together is that this Skyflow feels a lot more stable than either one of the other shoes, even though it's not listed as a stable flow. But as I said earlier, they did do something with the foam to where your foot feels cradled, and that definitely makes you feel super stable in this shoe. All right, so shoes from a different brand that this shoe is comparable with, at least in my opinion, is the Brooks Glycerin Stealth Fast 21 GTS. It's a tongue twister, but I've done the review for that particular shoe just a couple of weeks ago, and I'm gonna link it here. And at the same time, I want to tell you that the reason this reminds me of that particular shoe is because of the way that this shoe cradles your foot when you go for a run. I had that same sensation when I was wearing the Brooks shoe, just because I love how in the morning when you still feel a little bit wobbly, that shoe cradles your foot, and we'll talk probably more about that. All right, so let's talk about first impressions, because as we all know, first impressions are important. When I opened up the box and I saw this shoe, I definitely like the look of this shoe. I love the color patterns that HOKA does. HOKA does a great job all the time with having plenty of colors available for their shoes, but this was just really pretty. Other than that, I was just excited to try out another daily trainer, and I was very curious to see how this shoe would compare, given that the Bondi 8 and the Skyward just had come out. So with that, let's check out what the shoe looks like when we're running in it. All right, so let's talk about my opinion about the shoe, because I've had the shoe for over 30 days now, and I've been wearing it for probably 60-70% of my runs every week, and I wore these shoes for a great part of it. This shoe felt wonderful every single morning. I would get out of bed without a warm-up and just put the shoes on, and I started running, and I didn't feel unstable like I normally do for the first couple miles until I settle in. This shoe at this point probably has 120 or so miles on it, and the outsoles don't really show it that much. Obviously, everybody's gait is different, and I kind of land on the back side of my shoes. So that's normal for me that I have a little bit of wear there, but other than that, they still kind of look newish. And they feel the same as they did when I first started running in them. In addition, besides being a great daily trainer, I feel like the shoe is more responsive than, for example, the Bondi 8. So when I would finish my run, I would want to do some pickups, some quick sprints, a couple 100 meters here and there. And that's definitely a great shoe to do this with. And for me, having a shoe that's versatile where you can do more than one thing, and that's already a win. All right, so with that, let's talk about some of the pros and cons of the shoe. Like I said, this shoe is very versatile. You can do a few pickups when you want to go faster, but at the same time, use these for your long run, so that's definitely a plus. They feel very comfortable if you're a person that wants to run without socks on. Like me, by all means, this is a shoe that you can do this with without having a sock-like upper. Another pro, of course, is, as we said, how durable the shoe is. You can put a lot of miles on it without fearing it breaking down or looking like an old shoe right away. The shoe has a stable platform, and so you're avoiding the sub or super pronation. The shoe is very responsive, so it allows for you to run efficiently, and I think it's just an all-around great shoe. All right, but let's also talk about some cons of the shoe. Some of the cons about the shoe is that the shoe, according to a lot of runners, feels a little bit heavy. That's kind of a thing with HOKA, you have these bigger platforms and they come with weight. So compared to other trainers, daily trainers, that might be too much for you if you're not used to it. Another con of the shoe is the upper. As much as the upper is comfortable while very smooth and allowing you to run barefoot in this shoe, is a little bit on the thicker side, which makes it less breathable, which obviously when you're running in the summertime, that kind of can bug you. All right, so in summary, this shoe could be a great addition to your running shoe rotation if you do not have a daily trainer yet that's comfortable. That said, if you already have the Bondi 8 or the Skyward X, then I'm not sure that you would necessarily need this shoe, because the purpose of it is to probably just log your daily miles, and a lot of them will be easy miles, right? The shoe is responsive, but there are better shoes to do your speed work with. Nevertheless, this shoe is very beautiful, and if you're a walker, I think this shoe would also be very comfortable for the people that want something that they can wear daily to work when they spend a lot of time on their feet, because the shoe does feel great when you wear it for a while. It doesn't induce a lot of foot fatigue. And of course, with the colors and patterns that you have with this shoe, it's a fun shoe for sure. Now, if you have any opinions or information about the shoe that you would like for the viewers to hear about, put them in the comments. That's how everyone exchanges their opinions on it. I might have missed something, and I will read it too, and be sure to put that into my head for future recommendations. So that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. If you have any requests for future shoe reviews, you can also drop them down in the comments below, and I will try to get to them as well. And with that, until next time, have a great week of running.